All right, let's be honest for a second. You know that feeling, right? You know you need to hit the gym, finish that difficult report for work, clean out the garage, finally have that tough conversation. You know you should do it, but you just don't. There's no spark, no energy, absolutely zero motivation. Every cell in your body feels like it's actively resisting the idea of doing the hard thing. You feel completely stuck in inaction. If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. It's a feeling we all wrestle with. But here's the critical part. Staying stuck like that keeps you from growing, from achieving your goals, and from building the life you truly want. In this video, we're going to tackle this head on. We're not going to talk about finding motivation first. Instead, I'm going to give you practical, actionable strategies for bypassing that lack of motivation completely and getting yourself to act anyway, even when you feel like doing absolutely nothing. Because there's a counterintuitive truth here, and we'll get to it later. But spoiler alert, action often creates motivation, not the other way around. Let's dive in. First, we need to talk about the motivation myth. Many of us believe that we need to feel motivated before we can take action. We wait for that surge of energy, that burst of enthusiasm, and then nothing. It rarely comes, especially for tasks that are genuinely challenging, unpleasant, or outside our comfort zone. Why? Because motivation is incredibly fickle and unreliable. It's an emotion, a feeling, and emotions fluctuate constantly. You wouldn't wait to feel happy before leaving the house, would you? For important, difficult tasks, relying solely on motivation is a recipe for procrastination and stagnation. Our brains are actually wired for efficiency and avoiding discomfort. When faced with a hard task, the part of your brain responsible for threat detection, your amygdala, often flags it as potentially painful or difficult, prompting you to avoid it. When you also have zero motivation, this avoidance signal is even stronger. Learning how to take action without needing that initial spark is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's the foundation of discipline, resilience, and consistent progress. It's the skill that allows you to keep moving forward even on your toughest days. So, let's look at how to actually do it. Here are the practical strategies to get moving when your internal engine is running on empty. Strategy 1, the just start rule. Think, the 5-second rule. This is perhaps the simplest yet most powerful technique. The core principle is to interrupt the mental resistance before it fully takes hold. When you have the thought, I should really do X, your brain immediately starts offering excuses and reasons not to do it, especially if you lack motivation. The key is to physically move towards the action within about 5 seconds of having the thought. Don't allow time for overthinking or the wave of "I don't feel like it" to wash over you. How to apply? Identify the task you're avoiding. As soon as the idea crosses your mind or appears on your to-do list, internally count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then physically get up and start. This doesn't mean you need to complete the task in those 5 seconds. It just means you need to initiate the very first physical step. Examples: thinking about going for a run, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put on your shoes. Need to start writing a report. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, walk to your computer and turn it on. Need to wash dishes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, walk into the kitchen and turn on the water. It's about taking action the micro moment you recognize the task, bypassing the analysis paralysis and lack of motivation that sets in if you pause. Strategy 2, lower the activation energy. Make starting ridiculously easy. Okay, so once you've decided just to start, the next strategy helps you lower the hurdle of that start. When you lack motivation, even a small barrier can feel insurmountable. The goal is to make the initial step so easy it requires almost no mental energy to begin. Think of it this way. The amount of motivation needed often equals resistance multiplied by friction. We're reducing the friction. How to apply? Break the daunting task down into the absolute smallest, most non-threatening first step you can imagine. What is the single, tiniest physical action that gets you started? Examples: want to exercise? Your task isn't workout, it's put on gym clothes. Need to study? Not study chapter 5, but open the textbook. Need to clean? Not clean the kitchen, but put away one plate. This also involves preparation. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Have the document open on your computer ready to go. Pack your lunch so you just have to grab it. Do whatever you can ahead of time to make the very first action almost effortless. Strategy 3. Control your environment ruthlessly. Your surroundings have a massive impact on your ability to act, especially when your internal motivation is weak. Willpower is finite, but managing your environment minimizes the need for it. How to apply? Remove distractions. The easiest way to avoid doing a hard thing is to do an easy thing instead. Make the easy things, scrolling social media, watching TV, browsing random websites, harder to access. Put your phone in another room on silent. Use website blockers. Turn off notifications. Make the hard thing the default. Make the hard task the most accessible thing. Put the book you need to read right in your eyeline. Put the task checklist on the top of your pile. Have your work project open as the first tab. Signal the task. If there's a specific place you do the hard task, desk for writing, keep that space ready and associate it only with that task if possible. By engineering your environment, you steer your default behavior towards the desired action, even when you're not feeling it. Strategy 4. Implement commitment mechanisms and structure. Remove the option to debate with yourself in the moment of low motivation. Pre-decide and build structure. How to apply? Schedule it. Put the hard task on your calendar at a specific time, just like you would an appointment you can't miss. Treat that time block as non-negotiable. When the time comes, you don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You ask, "Is it time for this?" Get accountability. Tell someone else you're going to do the task by a certain time. Knowing someone else expects you to follow through can provide external motivation when internal motivation is lacking. Even better, do it with someone, a workout buddy, a co-working call. Pre-commit, financially, socially. Sign up for a class you have to pay for if you miss. Agree to meet someone. This adds consequences that can push you past the initial inertia. Structuring your day and leveraging accountability makes it harder to back out when that wave of zero motivation hits. Strategy 5. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Shift your mindset. When you lack motivation, thinking about the huge, distant outcome of a hard task can feel overwhelming and make starting even harder. Shift your focus to the doing, the process, the effort, rather than the feeling or the final result. How to apply? Time block. Instead of thinking, "I need to finish this chapter," think, "I'm just going to work on this chapter for 25 minutes using the Pomodoro technique." The goal isn't finishing, it's putting in the time. Focus on the next action. Ask yourself, what is the single next step? And just focus on doing only that. Don't think about the whole project, just the next sentence, the next rep, the next step in the recipe. Make it about effort. Frame it as, "I'm putting in my 30 minutes of effort," or "I'm just going to complete these 10 steps." The success is in showing up and doing the work for a defined period or chunk, regardless of how much feels accomplished or how you feel while doing it. This strategy makes the task feel less daunting, because the goal isn't to feel motivated while completing this massive thing, but rather to simply perform this manageable action for this short time. Strategy 6. Reconnect to your deeper why, beyond immediate feelings. While you're not waiting for motivation to start, reminding yourself of the long-term purpose behind the hard task can provide an underlying current of meaning and direction. This isn't about creating immediate energy, but about remembering why this difficult thing matters in the grand scheme of your life and goals. How to apply? Before starting the hard task, take 60 seconds to reflect. How does doing this align with the person you want to be? How does it serve your larger goals or values? What are the long-term benefits of pushing through this temporary discomfort? Keep your written goals visible in your workspace. Read your personal mission statement. Have an image that represents your why. This reconnects you to the reason why the task is important, helping you choose long-term value over short-term comfort, even when motivation is non-existent. So, you might be thinking, what if I apply these strategies? I start, and I still don't feel like doing it. I still have zero motivation even when I'm doing it. That is completely okay and actually very common. The goal was never to suddenly feel motivated while doing the hard thing. The goal was simply to start and do it. You can perform high-quality work or complete important tasks even when you feel neutral or even resistant. Don't wait for the feeling to validate the action. Trust that the action itself is what matters. If you did just that tiny first step, celebrate it as a win. You overcame the inertia. Isn't this just willpower? I don't have much willpower when I'm unmotivated. It uses some initial willpower, yes, but these strategies are designed to minimize the amount of willpower needed for the starting phase, which is the biggest hurdle when you lack motivation. You're not relying on brute force motivation. You're using tactics to make the behavior easier to initiate and sustain minimally. And the more you practice these, the less willpower you need over time, because you build the habit of action. Does this mean I'll never feel motivated again? No. As we're about to discuss, often the action creates motivation. These techniques help you start, and that starting phase is when motivation often shows up. This is the crucial point. We use these strategies not because we'll suddenly feel like doing the hard thing, but because taking action itself often generates the momentum and even the motivation we were waiting for. You push yourself to just start, do the tiniest first step, control your environment, and suddenly you're in motion. Once you've started, even without wanting to, the feeling of progress, the sense of taking control, the momentum of simply doing it for 10 or 15 minutes, this creates a little spark. You think, okay, I've started. That wasn't so bad. I can do a little more. Action isn't just the result of motivation. It's often the cause of it. By acting despite zero motivation, you build a powerful, virtuous cycle that fuels future action and builds unstoppable discipline. So, stop waiting to feel like it. You don't need to. What you need are strategies to bypass that feeling and just start moving. These strategies give you the power to act, build momentum, and ultimately create the motivation you need, even when you start from a place of zero spark. Your challenge, if you accept it, is to pick just one hard thing you've been avoiding right now and apply just one of these strategies immediately after watching this video. Don't wait for motivation. Just start.